The china rattles as Marcus sets his water glass down too hard. I glance at him, catching the muscle twitching in his jaw. He knows. After 3 years together, he can read the tension crackling through Sunday dinner like static before a storm. Across the antique oak table that has hosted Mitchell family dinners for 30 years, my twin sister Haley won't meet my eyes. She keeps fidgeting with her pearls, Mom's pearls twisting them tight against her throat, then letting them fall. Her husband Derek stares at his barely touched pot roast, jabbing his fork against the ceramic plate with sharp little clicks. Dad notices too. Richard Mitchell didn't raise twin daughters alone without developing a sixth sense for trouble. He cuts his meat with precise movements, his reading glasses sliding down his nose as he studies each of us in turn. "The potatoes are excellent this year," he says, his quiet voice carrying authority earned through decades of solo parenting. "You've outdone yourself, Paige." I force a smile, though my stomach churns. "Thanks, Dad. Aunt Linda's recipe." The lie slips out easily. I actually found the recipe on Pinterest, but mentioning our dead aunt usually softens tense moments. Dad's eyes crinkle at corners. She knows exactly what I'm doing. Marcus's hand finds my knee under the table, warm and steady. I cover it with my own drawing strength from his silent support. "Actually," I say, setting down my fork, "I have a question about something." The words scrape my throat. "I got a strange call from the Greater Valley Fertility Clinic yesterday." Derrick's head snaps up. Haley's pearls clatter against her collarbone. "They said my surrogacy application was rejected." I keep my voice level, though my heart pounds, which is odd since I never be a surrogate, but someone using my medical records did. The silence stretches like pulled taffy, thick and suffocating. Dad sets down his knife with a soft clink. "What do you mean, your medical records?" His voice has gone dangerously quiet. "That's what I'd like to know." I look directly at Haley because, according to the clinic, I'm an identical match to their patient, almost like we share DNA. Haley's face crumples. "I can explain." "Shut up." Derrick's command cracks like a whip. "No." I stand my chair, scraping back. "Let her explain why she stole my medical information, why she tried to register me as a surrogate without my knowledge." "Because you're selfish." Derrick slams his fist on the table. Water slushes from glasses. "We asked you. We begged you. But you couldn't be bothered to help your own sister have a baby. That's not what happened." My voice shakes. "A month ago, they asked me to consider being a surrogate. I said no, but offered to donate eggs instead. They refused. Because we need the whole package." Derrick's face has gone purple. "What's 9 months of your life? You travel around playing flight attendant while my wife cries herself to sleep every night." Marcus rises beside me, his presence solid as a shield. "Her body isn't a rental property, Derek." "Stay out of this." Derek jabs a finger at him. "This is family business. He is family." I snap. "Unlike you, he respects my right to make choices about my own body." "You selfish." Derek stands looming over the table. "You've always been jealous of Haley. This is your chance to finally do something worthwhile with your life instead of playing dress up in the sky." The sound of Dad's chair hitting the floor makes us all jump. He plants both hands on the table, leaning forward with a fury I haven't seen since Mom died. "Get out of my house." His words vibrate with rage. "Nobody speaks to my daughter that way, not in my home, not ever." "Daddy." Haley reaches for him, tears streaming. "Both of you." Dad's face is granite. Now Derek grabs Haley's arm, yanking her up. She stumbles, caught between husband and family. For a moment, our eyes lock. I see the sister who shared my heartbeat before birth, who held my hand through Mom's funeral, who swore we'd always protect each other. Then Derek pulls her toward the door. She follows. The slam reverberates through the house, rattling the family photos that line the hallway. In their wake, silence floods back like rising water. Marcus wraps his arm around my shoulders as my knees go weak. Dad picks up his chair with trembling hands. Nobody speaks. My phone buzzes in my pocket. Unknown number. The text message glows against the screen. "This isn't over. You'll give me what I want." I close my eyes, letting Marcus's strength hold me upright. What would you do when the people who should protect you plot to use your body against your will? For me, this was just the beginning of a nightmare that would test every boundary I'd ever set, but they didn't know who they were dealing with. Not yet. After the incident, I washed the dishes, comforted my dad, and went back home with my boyfriend. At home that night, Marcus's laptop screen glows in the darkness of my apartment. My fingers hover over his keyboard trembling. The browser history he discovered while checking his email makes my stomach turn. Greater Valley Fertility Clinic surrogacy laws by state legal precedent for family medical consent. Haley's name appears in every search. The timestamps stretch back 3 months. Each click, each query builds a timeline of calculated manipulation that freezes the blood in my veins. A PDF catches my eye. Bank statements showing $85,000 withdrawn from Haley's inheritance account. Derek's signature appears at the bottom of each document, authorizing payment for failed IVF treatments. I should have seen it coming. My voice cracks. Marcus wraps his arms around me from behind, solid and warm. The way Derek monitored her phone at Christmas dinner. How he kept talking about her owing him children. This isn't your fault. Marcus's breath stirs my hair. Keep looking. We need to know what we're dealing with. My hands shake as I open another folder. Inside, a notebook scan fills the screen with Haley's familiar looping handwriting. My heart stops. Week 1, research surrogacy requirements. Week 2, obtain Paige's medical records through Dr. Anderson's office. Week 3, begin conditioning her schedule. Bring up children during weekly calls. The list continues, mapping out their scheme in clinical detail. A photograph of my office building's security badge, my flight schedule for the past 2 months, notes about which entrance I use, what time I arrive home. The room spins. I slam the laptop closed, but the words burn behind my eyelids. They've been planning this for months. The truth rises like bile. My own sister tracked me like a mark. Marcus's phone buzzes. Dad's name lights up the screen. Richard Marcus answers, his voice steady despite the tension in his shoulders. Yes, she's here. We found something you need to see. An hour later, Dad came to my apartment. He sets down the laptop with hands that aren't quite steady. The lines around his mouth deepen as he studies the notebook entries again. I've watched Derek try to control her for years. He removes his reading glasses, rubbing the bridge of his nose, the comments about her weight, the joint bank account he monitors. But this, he gestures at the screen. This is something else entirely. My phone chimes. Another message from Haley. We shared a womb. Why can't you share yours? You're being so selfish. I show Dad the text. His face hardens. Block her number. He says both of them. I'm staying at the Hampton Inn down the street until we figure this out. Dad, you don't have to. Yes, I do. He squeezes my shoulder. I watched one daughter fall under his control. I won't lose both of you. And we saw him out and prepared for the bed as I had a flight to Chicago in the morning. The next morning, my colleague Janine catches me before our flight to Chicago. Her eyes dart around the crew room. Derek was here yesterday, she whispers. Asked about your schedule. I told him to leave before I called security. She pulls out her phone, showing me a photo of Derek's black SUV in the employee lot. I switched my routes to match yours for the next month. You're not dealing with this alone. With this new resolution to fight him till the end, I took a flight and returned home that same day, exhausted both physically and mentally. But I had this strange feeling inside for the whole day, as if trouble was waiting around the corner. And I was right. Back at home that night, something feels wrong. The deadbolt clicks open too easily. The air smells different. Cologne that isn't Marcus's lingers in the hallway. My jewelry box sits slightly askew on the dresser. Inside, Mom's pearl earrings are missing. My hands won't stop shaking as I dial 911. Officer Thompson arrives 20 minutes later, his expression bored as he takes notes. Without signs of forced entry, this is a civil matter between family members. He's escalating, I insist, showing him the folder of evidence, the stalking, the threats. Family disputes get messy. He closes his notebook. Change your locks. File for a restraining order if you want, but unless there's violence, our hands are tied. I call Marcus immediately to tell him what happened, so he suggests buying and installing a CCTV system. That night, Marcus installs security cameras while I change my phone number. Dad brings pepper spray and new deadbolts. We let him know about the incident, so he also came to help. My phone buzzes with a family group text from Haley. Why won't you answer my calls? This is tearing our family apart. I type back with steady fingers. My body, my choice. This discussion is over. Three dots appear as she types. I block her number before her response comes through. With Dad's and Marcus's help, the cameras were functioning and we all went to sleep a bit comfortably. However, at 2:00 a.m., the same night, my phone lights up with an alert from the security camera. On the grainy feed, a familiar figure approaches my building service entrance. Derek's face tilts toward the camera as he tries the door handle. I save the footage and forward it to Officer Thompson immediately. His response comes quickly this time. Keep recording. Document everything. Marcus pulls me closer. His heartbeat steady against my back, but sleep won't come. My sister's husband thinks he owns my body. My twin mapped my movements like a hunter studying prey. And this is only the beginning. Some men don't just want a child, they want control. And they'll destroy anything in their path to get it, including family. But abuse doesn't always leave bruises. Sometimes it leaves shattered appliances, silent threats, and a deep gnawing sense that nowhere is truly safe, which is why Derek has kept pestering us and destroying our apartment in the weeks to come. Due to a busy schedule, I was away for 2 weeks, and after I landed, waited for me to pick me up from work. As I sit in the car, he tells me Derek damaged our place again. As soon as we got home, I noticed a mess everywhere. The shards of my favorite espresso machine glitter across the kitchen floor like broken promises. Ceramic dust coats my fingertips as I pick up the pieces, dropping them into a paper bag one by one. Through my apartment windows, morning sunlight streams across the wreckage Derek left behind. Marcus crouches beside me, his phone recording the damage. That's the third break in this month. We're documenting everything. My hands shake as I reach for another fragment. The machine was a gift from Dad last Christmas, vintage Italian, the kind that hisses and steams like the ones Mom used to collect. Now it's just more evidence for the growing file labeled Mitchell versus Sloan. The locksmith arrives an hour later, installing the fourth new deadbolt since February. I watch him work, remembering the note I found on my windshield yesterday. Your sister can't give me what I need, but you can. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. I see you changed the locks again. Cute. I regret reading it and immediately go for a hot shower. Hey, Marcus's hand covers mine warm and steady. Officer Johnson called while you were in the shower. She wants to meet, he says to me 15 minutes later. I close my eyes, leaning into his strength. After 2 months of dismissive cops treating Derek's escalating behavior like a family squabble, Johnson is the first one who seemed to understand. The next morning, we went together to the police station to meet the officer. The precinct smells like burnt coffee and printer toner. Johnson's desk drowns under case files, but she clears the space when she sees us. Her salt and pepper hair is twisted in a no-nonsense bun. Walk me through the restaurant incident, she says, pen poised over her notepad. My scalp tingles with phantom pain. Tuesday night, Marcus was working late, so I met my friend Janine for dinner at Lorenzo's. Derek followed me from the parking lot. He grabbed my hair, tried to force me to look at photos of Haley crying. My voice stays steady. The manager called security. Derek left before they arrived. Johnson nods, making notes. And the texts. I pull out my phone, scrolling through dozens of messages from blocked numbers, each one more disturbing than the last. Your body was made to carry my son. Think about poor Haley. This could fix everything. I know your schedule. I know when you're alone. There's video, Marcus says quietly. He pulls up footage from a month ago. Derek cornering me in the airport parking garage after my red-eye flight. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows as he backs me against a concrete pillar. You're the one Derek's voice echoes in the recording. You'll give me a son one way or another. The camera shakes as a bystander films my response. The self-defense move Marcus taught me, twisting free while Derek stumbles. His shock when I plant my feet and raise my voice. Back off or I scream. Johnson studies the footage, her expression hardening. This is exactly what we needed. Clear threat, clear intent. She pulls out a stack of forms. Let's talk about a restraining order. She suggested I go to the courthouse to pursue the case even further. 2 hours later, I stand at the courthouse counter, my signature drawing on the temporary order. The clerk's stamp echoes like a gavel falling. Thanks. My phone buzzes again 20 minutes later. This time it's Marcus. He went to work after leaving me at the courthouse first. Dad's moving into the guest apartment above his garage, he says. 10 minutes from your place. And I took emergency leave from the airline. You're not facing this alone. Something cracks in my chest, not breaking, but opening. Later that night, curled against Marcus on my couch, the words spill out. Mom died giving birth to us, I whisper. I was 12 minutes older than Haley. 12 minutes more time with a mother I'll never know. My fingers trace the old photos Dad keeps in his wallet. I used to think it was my fault coming first, somehow taking too much of her strength. My body has always been mine to protect the one thing I could control. Marcus's arms tighten around me, and it always will be yours. The next week passes in a blur of preparation. Security cameras appearing in strategic corners. New routines, new schedules. Dad brings dinner every night. His quiet presence is shield. My coworkers created an unofficial buddy system, never leaving me alone on layovers, walking me to my car after shifts. I start a journal documenting everything with timestamps and witnesses. The growing file becomes my armor. Each entry, another brick in the wall between me and Derek's obsession. And that's how I prepared for the bigger trouble to come. The call comes on a Sunday morning, Haley's number flashing on my screen for the first time in months. Paige. Her voice breaks. I need to tell you something about Derek, about what he's planning. I sit very still, Marcus's hand finding mine as I listen to my twin sister sob. I found his journal, she whispers. The things he wrote about you, about what he wants to do. I can't. I should have seen it sooner. Should have stopped him. My free hand curls into a fist. It's not too late to do the right thing. A long pause fills the line. Then tell me what you need. Sometimes the greatest weapon against manipulation is truth. As the pieces of my counter strategy click into place, I realize even the most loyal enablers have their breaking point. What would you do if the person who betrayed you suddenly became your most powerful ally? Looking at the phone in my hand, I know exactly what comes next. Derek isn't the only one who can make plans, and mine are better. I am anticipating a great trouble, but I will deal with it after I confirm all details with my sister tomorrow at the cafe. The next morning, steam rises from my coffee cup, swirling in the sunlight streaming through the cafe window. Across the table, Haley twists her wedding ring around and around the diamond, catching light with each rotation. The pearls are gone from her neck. I followed him last Tuesday. Her voice barely carries over the espresso machine's hiss. After he said he had a late meeting, he parked outside your building for 3 hours. Paige. My hands tighten around the ceramic mug. The heat burns, but I don't let go. That's not all. Haley leans forward, her face me face, but haunted inches from mine. I found his journal. The things he wrote about you, about carrying his child. He's obsessed. Marcus's warnings echo in my head. Something's not right with him, the way he watches you. Why now? The question scrapes my throat. Why are you telling me this now? Haley's eyes fill. A tear tracks down her cheek, but she doesn't wipe it away. Because I found the adoption papers from when he was 3. His birth other was 6. Her voice cracks. She didn't want him. The cafe bustle fades to white noise. Derek's voice from last Christmas plays in my memory. A real father passes on his blood, his legacy. He's not just fixated on having a baby. Haley's fingers crush a sugar packet. He needs his DNA to continue. And when I couldn't, she closes her eyes. He decided you were the answer. His perfect solution. My phone buzzes. Derek's name lights up the screen. I turn it face down. I'll help you. Haley reaches across the table, her hand hovering over mine. Whatever you need. Evidence, testimony, anything. The cafe door chimes. We both jump. But it's not Derek. Just a mother with a stroller cooing at her baby. Haley jerks back like she's been burned. Her chair scrapes the floor as she stands. I have to go. He checks my location. Wait. I grab her wrist. Stay with Dad, please. She pulls away but nods once before rushing out. We went our ways, but later that day, I came home, and she picked her stuff and went to Dad's. 3 days later, Derek's rage explodes. I went to Dad's to find him and Paige. I'm in Dad's kitchen when the calls start flooding in. Your daughter is destroying this family. Derek's voice booms through Dad's phone speaker. She's poisoned Haley against me against having children. Dad's jaw tightens as he ends the call. He's been like this for hours, calling everyone. My own phone lights up. Unknown number. But I know it's him. Each message is more desperate than the last. You're tearing us apart. This was our chance. Without me, she'll never have children. Answer me. I've got the paperwork. Dad slides a manila envelope across the counter. Divorce attorney, best in the state. The front door slams. We both freeze. Haley bursts into the kitchen, mascara streaked down her face. He knows about the coffee shop. He had someone watching. She collapses into Dad's arms, her whole body shaking. I can't go back. Please don't make me go back. Dad strokes her hair just like when we were little. Never. You're home now. My phone rings again. Officer Johnson's name flashes on the screen. Miss Mitchell, we've got the phone records you requested. And something else. Security footage from your building's garage. You need to see this. I put the phone on speaker as Johnson continued. He's getting sloppy. Left his laptop open at work. A colleague reported some concerning searches. Haley straightens in Dad's arms. I recorded him last night. He admitted breaking into Paige's apartment, said he had to prepare the nursery. Her voice hardens. I've got it all. A car door slams outside, then another. Dad moves to the window. Christ. Derek stands in the driveway swaying. His tie hangs loose, shirt untucked, the perfect facade finally cracking. Haley, his shout carries through the walls. Don't let them do this to us. Neighbors peek through curtains. Phones appear in windows recording. I called dispatch, Johnson says through the speaker. Units are 3 minutes out, but I have a suggestion if you're willing to help us end this. I think of the journal Haley found the nursery comment the months of stalking and threats. What kind of suggestion? Ever hear of a sting operation, Miss Mitchell? Because I'm thinking it's time we turn the hunter into the prey. Haley grips my hand. Dad's face hardens with resolve. Outside, Derek continues to shout, his voice breaking. But for the first time in months, I don't afraid. He wanted to make me prey. He never expected me to become the predator. The police sirens wail in the distance, growing closer. Through the window, I watch Derek's head snap toward the sound the moment he realizes his control is slipping away. A family should protect its own, but sometimes protection means standing up to the very people who should have kept you safe. The bonds that once seemed unbreakable twist into chains until you find the strength to shatter them completely. I'm in. I squeeze Haley's hand. Let's end this. The next morning, the email appears in my inbox at 3:47 a.m. Its timestamp a digital fingerprint of Derek's desperation. The subject line reads, "Mental health crisis. Please help." I forward it to Officer Johnson without opening it, just like the previous 12 messages this week, and continue to drink my coffee. After he ran away from the scene. We have been planning this play all along to catch him finally. My phone buzzes. Another voicemail. Derek's voice slurs through the speaker. Without you, I have nothing left to live for. The words might have gutted me 6 months ago. Now they land hollow, each syllable cataloged as evidence. Marcus watches from across our kitchen counter, a coffee mug suspended halfway to his lips. That's the third one today. Fourth, I screenshot the call log and add it to my documentation folder. He's escalating. A call from the Johnson officer to confirm the time and place for the awaiting show gives me more strength. The cafe bustles around us 2 nights later, servers weaving between tables with steaming plates. Marcus chose the spot for our date night Bellinis, where the waitstaff knows us and the security cameras cover every angle. Officer Johnson sits 3 tables away, newspaper propped in front of him like a shield. Try the carbonara, Marcus says, voice pitched just loud enough to carry. Right on cue. I check my watch. 7:42 p.m. Derek always shows up during the dinner rush when he thinks he can blend with the crowd. The bell above the door chimes. Paige. His voice scrapes against my ears. We need to talk. I don't turn around. Marcus's hand finds mine across the table, warm and steady. The script we've rehearsed a dozen times unfolds with precision. "This is a private dinner," Marcus says. "Leave." Private Derrick barks out a laugh. "Nothing about her is private. She belongs to me. She always has." Officer Johnson's newspaper rustles. From the corner of my eye, I catch his slight nod. "Everything's recording." "I've never belonged to you, Derrick." My voice carries across the suddenly silent restaurant. "I never will. You ungrateful." His fingers dig into my shoulder. The touch burns through my blouse, but I don't flinch. "Don't give him the satisfaction." "Remove your hand," I say clearly, each word distinct for the microphone hidden in my necklace. "You're hurting me, sir." Officer Johnson materializes beside our table badge glinting. "Step away from Miss Mitchell." Derrick's grip tightens. "This is family business. This is assault." Officer Johnson's voice could freeze flame in violation of a restraining order. But that's just the beginning, isn't it? "Mr. Sloan." Two more officers appear, flanking Derrick. Johnson pulls out his phone, scrolling through screenshots. 47 attempts to contact Miss Mitchell through fake social media accounts, tracking software installed on her home security cameras, a journal full of disturbing content found in your vehicle during our warranted search. Johnson's eyes harden. "Care to explain the detailed maps of Miss Mitchell's jogging routes?" The color drains from Derrick's face. His hand falls from my shoulder. "You can't. We can." We did. Officer Johnson produces handcuffs. "Derrick Sloan, you're under arrest for stalking harassment violation of a protective order." The list continues, each charge striking like a hammer blow. I remain seated, watching Derrick's facade crumble. He doesn't look dangerous anymore, just small pathetic. Movement near the entrance catches my eye. Haley steps into view, her face set in lines of grief and determination. Derrick sees her too. His expression twists. "Baby, tell them." His voice cracks. "Tell them this is all a misunderstanding." Haley's hand presses against her throat, a gesture so familiar it aches. But the pearls are gone. She stands straighter without their weight. "The only misunderstanding," she says, "was thinking I had to choose your obsession over my sister's safety." The officers lead Derrick away. He struggles at the door, twisting to face me one last time. This isn't over, but it is. In his eyes, I see the moment he realizes it too. The restaurant erupts in applause. Strangers pat my shoulder, murmur, "Congratulations." Marcus pulls me close, his heartbeat steady against my cheek. Through tears I didn't realize had fallen. I see my father push through the crowd. He wraps one arm around me, the other around Haley. For the first time in months, we're whole again. "You did good, kid," he whispers. "Both of you." Officer Johnson approaches with his notebook. "Mitchell, if you're ready to make your statement." I straighten in Marcus's embrace. My voice emerges clear and strong, empty of emotion. Just facts, dates, evidence. The words flow like water, washing away months of fear. With each sentence, I reclaim another piece of myself. The sun sets outside Bellini's windows, painting the sky in shades of victory. My phone buzzes, not with threats this time, but a notification from the courthouse. I open it. Mark is reading over my shoulder. "Recase number 47 to 892, preliminary hearing date set." The journey isn't over, but for the first time since that Sunday dinner that shattered everything, I can see the path ahead. Not just to survival, but to something stronger. My fingers find the power button on my phone. The screen goes dark, reflecting my smile back at me. Derrick wanted to own my body. Control my choices, steal my very self. He never stood a chance. Because survival wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning. Morning sunlight filters through gauzy white curtains, casting ripples across my laptop screen. 1 year. The words still catch in my throat sometimes, but today they flow through my fingertips. Each keystroke a reminder of how far I've come. My engagement ring catches the light as I type, sending tiny rainbows dancing across the ceiling. Marcus surprised me last month down on one knee in the middle of my favorite bookstore. No grand gestures, no audience, just us surrounded by stories of other people's journeys while writing our own. The working title of my memoir stares back at me from the screen. My body, my choice, a survivor's story. The cursor blinks at the end of chapter 12, patient as a therapist, waiting for the next revelation. The potted herbs on my window, basil, mint, rosemary, have replaced the security cameras that once monitored every shadow. Their gentle fragrance reminds me that life grows forward, not back. My phone buzzes. Dad's text reads, "Don't forget dinner at 6. Marcus said he's bringing that chocolate cake you love. Sunday dinner." The words no longer twist my stomach into knots. I took a shower, put makeup on, and went to Dad's. The drive to Dad's house takes exactly 18 minutes, just like always. But everything else has shifted, as if the universe finally clicked into proper alignment. Marcus holds my hand over the center console, his thumb brushing absent circles against my skin. "Ready?" he asks as we pull into the familiar driveway. I squeeze his hand. More than ready. The same antique oak table dominates Dad's dining room, polished to a warm glow. But the energy crackling through the air bears no resemblance to that devastating night 1 year ago. Haley's short bob swings forward as she arranges a bowl of salad. The new style suits her lighter, freer, like she's finally shed more than just hair. The potatoes are getting cold. Dad calls from the kitchen. "Marcus, come tell me if these need more pepper." Marcus winks at me before joining Dad. Their voices blend in an easy rhythm of shared jokes and gentle ribbing. The word son drifts out wrapped in Dad's gruff affection. He's already planning the rehearsal dinner menu, Haley says, straightening a fork that doesn't need straightening. I caught him watching Food Network yesterday and taking notes. I hang my jacket on the hook by the door, the same hook that once held the weight of unspoken accusations. That explains the mysterious cookbook collection growing in his study. Speaking of growing things, Haley's voice softens. My therapist thinks I'm ready for the adoption process. I mean, next year, maybe. The words settle between us like delicate birds coming to rest. 1 year ago, they would have triggered an avalanche of guilt and resentment. Now they simply exist, carrying no weight beyond their own truth. That's wonderful, I say, and mean it. The doorbell chimes before she can respond. Sarah and Jim from my support group arrive with a bottle of sparkling cider, followed by my colleague Janet and her wife. Officer Johnson Katie now brings homemade cookies and updates about the latest restraining order statistics. "Your foundation's making waves," she says, helping Dad arrange glasses on the sideboard. "3 more women came forward this month after reading about your case. The framed order hangs in my home office now, not as a reminder of fear, but as proof of what happens when you stand your ground." Next to it, a photo captures me speaking at last month's survivor meeting. The woman I was a year ago would never have recognized the strength in her own voice. My phone rings an unknown number that no longer makes my heart race. "Mitchell!" I answer, stepping onto the back porch. A shaky voice responds. "I got your number from the support network. My brother, he's been following me, showing up at work. I don't know what to do." The familiar script rises to my lips. Not mechanical, but grounded in hard-won wisdom. First step, document everything. Times, dates, locations. You aren't alone in this. Through the window, I see Haley listening. Her expression a mirror of understanding. She's learning, too, how to support without smothering how to love, without demanding surrender. The dinner went well, but we still had our little fears inside our hearts. Later, after dessert plates have been cleared and goodbye hugs exchanged, Haley and I find ourselves on the porch swing. The same swing where we once shared teenage secrets and midnight ice cream. The wooden slats still creak in G minor. "I've been thinking," she says, watching fireflies rise from Dad's gardenia bushes, "about what makes a real family." Our hands find each other in the gathering dusk. Same DNA, different choices. The twin connection hums between us stronger now, for having been tested broken and carefully rebuilt. After the small talks and hugs, we went back home. Back home, my laptop waits. The cursor still blinks at the end of chapter 12, but now I know exactly what comes next. Marcus reads over my shoulder as I type the final lines. Family isn't about shared blood or borrowed wombs. It's about boundaries respected and choices honored. It's about love that builds up, never tears down. My body remains my own, and my heart belongs to those who understood that all along. The words glow against the screen like truth catching fire. Outside my window, the city spreads out in a constellation of lights, each one marking someone else's story. Maybe somewhere out there, another woman stands at her own crossroads, wondering if she's strong enough to draw a line in the sand. I save the file and close my laptop. Marcus's arms slide around my waist as I stand solid as bedrock, gentle as morning light. "Coming to bed?" he asks. I lean into his embrace, feeling the future unfold before us like a road finally clear of shadows. "Yes," I say. "I'm ready." Through the window, stars pierce the darkness like silver studs. My reflection smiles back at my scarred but unbroken, changed but not damaged, finally and completely free.